once we bring a rift to everybody else, I mean, you're being super vulnerable in that moment. You know, you're showing everybody your baby, and sometimes your baby's gonna get beat up.
Welcome to the Dreams of Consciousness podcast. If the two of you would be so kind, would you mind introducing yourselves?
I'm Kelly McLaughlin. I play guitar and vocals in Enigmatum.
I am Eli. I play guitar, same band.
Guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let's get this out of the way. What is Enigmatum? How would you describe the music that you make?
It's like a hodgepodge between the best things we love about death metal and the things we love about black metal, and then some other tastes just kind of just end up in the mix. We don't really have too much thought about it, but it's just kind of, yeah, the best way I could describe it is black and death metal with some proggy stuff.
That's the best way that I would describe it. If we're gonna, put it to one simple thing, it's just kind of black and death, but not really. It's just kind of an amalgamation of a bunch of people with ADHD who can't decide what they want to do.
Now, do you feel that there are progressive elements to music, or maybe that your approach to arranging songs is progressive?
I mean, yeah, but it's like not something that we really make as a goal. It's just kind of out of a necessity to not play the same shit over and over. So it just kind of naturally ends up being a little more eclectic to keep ourselves amused. And then everyone's like, "This is the most progressive thing ever," and we're like, if you feel that way, that's cool."
I feel like the riffs are not really progressive to me, but the song structure can kind of err on that side. So, as a combination of riffs, it's more on the progressive side, but each individual riff is not really that crazy most of the time, with a few exceptions.
And maybe even the way that you guys integrate instruments like saxophones that people don't usually
Sure.
associate with death or black metal.
Sure, sure, yeah. That's the first time we've actually done that. And our first album, we did this kind of pretty ambitious instrumental, which had some acoustic stuff. And yeah, this is the first album we've ever used like keys, and definitely the first we've used woodwinds. So yeah, that's totally fair. If people are like that, yeah, that makes it prog. And yep, cool.
Sure. Sounds good.
Kelly, you mentioned goals. What were the goals initially when you guys formed this band?
So we had actually some old material between me, Pierce, and Eli. We really couldn't find a home for, and this is stuff we had written almost like 10 years before even getting together. So and it ended up being a matter of showing each other these old songs and being like, wow, this could actually kind of work together. We're kind of on the same wavelength. So it was kind of born out of necessity. Just kind of, had never really gotten to play this kind of stuff in our prior bands. So it just felt like we both like this kind of shit. So might as well get together and make it happen.
Well, that's perfectly what it is. Just a bunch of old songs, and they were similar enough that we kind of just fell into the same pot and just kind of took everything, stirred it up, and got some fucked up riffs out of the whole thing. And then after, we just kind of pulled each other in different directions. Always pissing each other off with riffs that the other people can't play, and just like pushing each other every single time that we get together, just making each other better.
Had the three of you, you, Kelly, you, Eli, and Pierce, been in a project together before Enigmatum?
No, not the three of us. Me and Pierce were in the band Blood Freak before starting Enigmatum. And Brian, our bassist, was also in that band. So it was actually mostly Blood Freak, which became Enigmatum.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was the odd man out.
Yeah.
Eli, how did you know the other guys? Did you know Blood Three from the scene?
Me and Pierce have been friends since we were like in middle school. Like we literally grew up playing music together. We learned music together. So, yeah, we did, everything together as kids. And we had some of the songs that we wrote, definitely were influenced by each other. We kind of helped shape each other into what we play today. I mean, definitely I could say, Pierce has been an influence to me. So yeah, we've just always kind of been around each other and finally did something. It was just the right time to to really create a full project together.
When you guys write songs, how does it usually start for you? Does it start with trading guitar riffs back and forth? Or do you guys like to jam? What's the process?
It's been a little bit of all types of kind of styles of songwriting. Sometimes it'll be one person has more or less a completed song, and he'll show it to us, and then kind of build upon that. Other times, I'll kind of this from the song I wrote in this album in particular. We kind of just like sat down, and these guys were there to kind of help me write, kind of help guide where it was going to go. So yeah, it could either be like a foundation's built, or we kind of build it together with all the material that we have on the floor, you know.
It's definitely a democratic process. We once we bring a riff to everybody else, I mean, you're being super vulnerable in that moment. You're showing everybody your baby, and sometimes your baby's gonna get beat up, and that's a good thing though, because sometimes you're wrong, and you need everybody else to tell you, hey, that sucks. So we bring something to the table, and then if it needs to just be, we call it enigmatified. We just kind of modify whatever we got together until it's us, and so that way the whatever is brought to everybody doesn't sound like that individual person. It has to be cohesive in this universe that we live in, where everything kind of gets fucked up.
I mean, some babies are just ugly, right? Like, I'm sorry, but some people just have ugly babies.
Yeah, it's like a baby. Yeah.
Kelly, since you play more than one instrument, do you always start on the guitar, or do you sometimes like bring in other instruments when you write?
No, it's always guitar. I mostly focus on taking care of the instrumentation, and then admittedly, I'm a pretty procrastinator when it comes to writing lyrics, and so that's always the last step. And unless we have like a show coming up, generally the lyrics will be the very last thing that we write.
Do you guys demo stuff on a DAW, like Pro Tools or one of those, Ableton or whatever?
Yeah, we do pre-production. We did it the most meticulously. This album, this time around, Pierce was getting really well versed in the engineering side. Obviously, he engineered the majority of the performances. So yeah, we had a pretty solid pre-production this route, and not just like the bass line kind of stuff. We had harmonies and a whole bunch of stuff kind of written before we did it for real.
Does Pierce have his own studio?
We did it at his house.
Okay.
As far as I know, I think he might be moving into where we engineered the drums, which is Electric City in North Portland.
So at the time of our conversation, you recently released your third album, Infinitude's Passage, the 20-buck spin. Can you tell me a little bit about this album? What were your intentions for this album, and what did you hope to accomplish with this one?
We had a tall order, definitely, because we wanted to kind of create our sort of magnum opus. We had to, every time we write anything, we always try to beat ourselves. So that was kind of the goal, is to just make a better album than Deconsecrate, or at least, do something different. I always thought of this as when Death came out with Human and Death like really became Death. I feel like this is the most cohesive and well thought out album that we've put out, where we really were trying to push ourselves into something different, but something that is still us. So yeah, we were just trying to outdo ourselves. Really, was the goal. Was to always, come up with stuff that's going to piss each other off because we could barely play it, get better, come to the table, learn the riffs. We this is the first time we had to like bust out a notebook and to just be able to memorize some of the riffs, just because it was too much for our own heads. So we had to stare at, a big piece of paper on the wall that has like, riff A that sounds like this, but riff A has like, three different versions of it that go in like a fucked up order. So really just taking the formula that we had created and pushing it as far as we can go, but without losing, who we were. That's really important, is to just not become washed, but to stay true to who we are and our sound.
Yeah, and funny enough, this is the first album with fretless bass, so it is definitely our human.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not just fretless bass, but additional instrumentation.
Yeah.
Kelly, you alluded to this a little bit, but would you say that this is the most prog, quote unquote, prog album that you guys have put out?
I don't know. I would say I would say no, because I'm still like trying to come to terms with what that means to me, what it means to other people.
I think sometimes it just means fretless bass.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, it's not 4/4, and like I don't know what's coming next. Yeah, it's prog. So yeah, it's yeah. I don't really have too strong of an opinion on stuff about like classification matters like that. So I'm not sure if I'm the best one to answer.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's ignore the terms.
Sure.
But in terms of wanting to bring new elements into your music, do you feel like that was part of the intention for this album? To try to push your sound as far into different areas while still keeping it in this kind of black metal, death metal kind of realm?
Yeah, I think just like for myself, comparatively from last album was like for the most part really dense and like kind of full throttle for the most part. I kind of envisioned that this album would have kind of just more open parts to it in general. And so I just, when me and Pierce would, get together and kind of work on the early songs, it just kind of, I don't think there's much conversation happening. It's just ends up being that way. It might be a little more intuitive than that.
When you guys are writing songs, you already have in mind that you want to bring in woodwinds and synths and things like that?
No, no. Yeah, that particular section came about way later. He kind of had it recorded for the most part independently and was using different MIDI instruments. He already knew that there was going to be, he wanted keys, and at that point decided he wanted some saxophone too. But it wasn't until way, way later when I thought I could use my old bass clarinet skills and dust that thing off and see if it worked. And we didn't really know if it was going to work until we laid it down and everyone heard it and it worked. So it made it.
Yeah, Pierce had been working on that for a long time. And every once in a while, just in the group chat, he would just blow up with, he'll just fucking lock himself in a room for like 8 hours and then just blow up the group chat with all these like different ideas that he had, and like a full MIDI section completely, completely written. And then he'll change it like a dozen times until it's, you know, it's nuts every single time. But yeah, he's one of the like most driven people where he can just like literally just lock himself in a freaking dungeon and just like push out work and material. So
I played saxophone for a few years in a concert band. I don't know, Kelly,
Cool.
if that was your background. Is that where you learned bass clarinet? Or is it?
Yeah, yeah. I started in fourth grade, and fourth to eighth, played bass clarinet. Yeah, school band.
Yeah. Ironically, I stopped playing saxophone because I discovered heavy metal
Right, right.
and decided that saxophones weren't metal.
Yeah, totally. Well, we're proving that wrong with this one.
If only you guys were around 30 years ago. But I digress. Eli, you mentioned more than once the difficulty of this material and you guys needing to put in extra effort to learn it. Is that something that's important to you guys? Do you feel the need to challenge yourselves as musicians with every album?
yeah, I think so. I mean, when Pierce composes stuff and he does a lot of composition, the majority of this album is Pierce's composition. He's a drummer, so when he comes to us, he just always assumes that we can play the guitar parts that he has in his head. It's just like when a guitarist, sends a drum track that they've programmed to a drummer, and the kicks are like not human speeds.
Right.
Pierce kind of does the opposite to us, where he'll, write these guitar tracks with like minutes and minutes of straight, tremolo picking that's, really, really difficult to do. And he's just like, well, you're better at guitar than me, so you have to be able to play it. And, I always fought it, but he was right. You just get better. And then, it's always a point of pride. Kelly could probably speak of this also. When you come to the table and the other guitarist can't play the fucking riff, you feel so powerful. And to do that to each other over and over and over again, is it's frustrating, but it's fun to just kind of push each other and to, really force each other to level up. And Kelly's leveled me up like crazy as a guitarist. So, and there's things to this day that he can do that I cannot fucking do, and there are things to this day that he can't do what I do. So
Mhm.
it's good.
Yeah, and I think push that level not for like its own sake. I think it's just all really natural, and just from the beginning, this material has always like pushed us at the very edge of our abilities, and we kind of like where that takes us, kind of right in the razor's edge, you know. So I think that's just something we've always done since we started, since we first got in a room together. So we just
I'm
didn't change it this
tired,
time.
tired after playing a song. Like need a second to relax.
Yeah. I'd like to speak about the recording of this album because it was done by multiple people worked on various aspects of the recording. It was done in multiple places. Let's start with the tracking. Did you guys all track in your own individual spaces?
Yeah, it was really scattered this time around. We did the drums at one place, did the guitars with Pierce at Eli's house. Brian did his bass on his own. So it was just like really, really splintered, if that answers your question.
Yeah. Was that a matter of logistics? Just easier to handle it in your own spaces?
We followed the same formula, I guess, for every album that we've recorded, give or take, where the drums go first, and then guitars get layered on top of that, and then bass gets layered on top of that. We for every album that we've done reamping instead of throwing a microphone in front of a speaker live. It just, I guess, I mean, it is just easier to do things that way, but we are very meticulous about how that is done, just to make sure that things stay raw and not overproduced.
And also we're poor, so we can afford a really expensive.
Also, that it's going to be raw.
Did somebody help you with the engineering, the recording of the drums?
Oh yeah, that was Charlie Corn, Ascended Dead, and Incantation. He's done the drums, or he's actually engineered both previous albums.
Yep.
Kelly, do you know Charlie from playing with him before?
Yeah, actually, I was playing in Ascended Dead for a year in 2018, filling in, and I knew him before that. And I think we had done the first album, like right around that time. So yeah.
Did Pierce handle most of the engineering?
He did the both guitars, leads, and oh yeah, I forgot to mention he did the vocals as well. So yep, he is one of the principal. He is the principal engineer of this album.
Do you want to say anything about the gentleman who mixed and mastered the album?
Yeah. So who mixed it and mastered it is Colin Marston. I don't think I need to really sing too much praises of him. He's a genius. We also went to Keith Merrill for some other reamps and got to nerd out with him. So between those two people, I don't think I'm missing anyone in the post production. I think that between those two are the ones who made it happen in the end.
Definitely reached high. They're higher than we've ever had as far as, pulling in the professionals on this one. So
Was this the first time that you worked with Colin?
yeah.
It was. Mm-hmm.
I don't think a month goes by where Colin's name doesn't come up on this podcast.
Right.
I finally got to speak with him sometime last year. For you guys personally, why Colin? And what did you want Colin to bring to this album?
Yeah, we just needed someone that we knew, because, we're poor. We can't do this over and over. We have to send this to somebody who knows what they're doing. And we've had so much, good experiences from other people that we know that it made sense. It made sense.
Yeah, he seemed to be like the go-to guy for that kind of crystal clear but organic kind of thing that we're kind of known for and what we strive for. So he just seemed like a pretty obvious choice.
We just needed a one and done, one-stop shop person who's just gonna do a good fucking job. And so that made that pretty easy.
Among the stars,
With the woodwinds and the synths, was there additional consideration to the mix? Like, were there challenges to bringing those elements out in your music?
Yeah, I think there was a delicate balance there because there's so many instruments going on in that particular part. So yeah, it was like a matter of like dialing down the bass, for instance, and figuring out where the clean guitars sit and all of it. And yeah, I think there's definitely a little bit of back and forth about that part until we got it right.
And
But I could be wrong. It was kind of a long time ago. I don't remember too much.
for for the guitars specifically, like for our second album, Deconsecrate, we really fucking made shit hard for Charlie. We with the guitars, anyways. We I was just popping off, going crazy, trying to figure out like how to fit as many speakers and amps and stuff into each side as possible. And for this, it was a lot more simple. Just a guitar tone on this side, basically the same guitar tone on this side, and then having to cut through the middle. So it was a lot simpler, and it sounded. Each album, the mixes, we really lucked out on both our last. I mean, all three albums sound good, but we somehow hit the sweet spot, no matter how dumb we were being with like over having too many elements involved. And like there are parts of this album where there's way too many guitars stacked on top of each other. Like in Pitiless Mechanism, there's a section in the middle where there's just guitar on guitar on guitar, and then like a guitar solo with harmonies. There's like six fucking guitars going on at the same time. It's dumb, but it still worked.
Just in case we didn't mention his name, I'm not sure if we did or not. Do you want to mention who played saxophone on the album?
Yeah, that was Patrick Corona, if I'm not mistaken, who plays on Rivers of Nile. Not sure how to pronounce that name, actually.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's the dude. Killed it. Yeah, and actually, we had only had the MIDI version up until the time we were recording the actual bass clarinet. So it was kind of just like, cross your fingers, hope it works with the actual sax when we get it. And somehow he delivered it the 11th hour, and we got the file right when we were in the room. So we got to throw it on the monitors, and I actually kind of wasn't feeling like I was like groping around in the dark for the most part. I had like because it's wild how like a real actual performed instrument is compared to the MIDI. I know, go figure. The human sounds human, the computer sounds like a computer, but it definitely brought it home with my performance there. So that definitely helped out.
That's
That was
awesome.
like one of the best days of like all of our lives was when we got the saxophone track back, and we were just listening to it over and over and just like screaming every single time we heard it. Like, oh, play it again, play it again.
That's awesome. Kelly, do you do multiple tracks of vocals? Do you layer your vocals?
Oh yeah, big time. This time I think we did it a little differently. Actually, we had like two tracks of vocals more or less at the same volume. So before I would kind of do a consistent track of all gutturals to just have like a really like thick presence or I guess resonance in this case. And then this time I kind of like tried to have two lead vocals, if you will. At some parts they're kind of doing the same things. At other parts they're like kind of sounds blasphemous to say that they're harmonized, but yeah, it's like I really got to play with how I could mix it up this time and we also did some like good old like Viking bellows a lot more this time and a lot of spoken word, which Colin also did masterfully. We kind of wanted every spoken word section to kind of have its own little character and identity, and he totally pulled that off too.
I mean, when you say character, do you mean literally character? Like, is this a concept album? Are there characters in this?
Oh, not necessarily characters, but like a different, hmm, like a different shade, if you will, or different colors. Might be the better word for it. But
Okay,
yeah, there's
I got you.
no like actual characters per se.
Okay, I got you.
Mhm.
So the album is out. Do you guys have plans for any tours or festival appearances or anything like that?
Not as of now, we're focused all on our individual projects right now. I'm not too sure what's in store for us in the future, but we're just kind of working on promoting the album and making sure it gets all the love it deserves. And yeah, not really sure what's going to happen after.
Do you want to mention what your projects are and what people should look out for in the next year?
Sure. My band is Seductor. I play guitar in that. I'd maybe call it like blackened traditional speed metal, kind of eclectic mix, kind of much like Enigmatum. Like no one really knows what the hell to categorize it as. But yeah, Seductor.
Eli, what do you have going on?
Seriously, Seductor is seriously fucking good, guys. It's so funny. It's awesome. Like, it's just funny how good it is. And just kind of perfect. You can hear the elements of like Kelly so much in Seductor. And then Brian has old machines, just super nerdy, awesome, fast, lots of notes. It just makes complete sense for Brian. Diabolic Oath.
I saw Diabolic Oath, I think. Did they play
Oh yeah.
Northwest Terrorfest a couple years ago?
Yeah.
I have a Diabolic Oath shirt. I had no idea he was in that band. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Yep.
heavy.
Yeah, he's the guy playing the fretless guitar. Our fretless bass player is the fretless guitarist in Diabolic Oath.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Trace has been doing just a ton of session work, really putting himself out there. And then I don't have anything going on, but it's time. I've been talking to some people in the community and ready to get loud again. I've had some, career changes and had to focus on other stuff, but I'm ready to, get with the right people and make something loud happen.
That's awesome. Keep us posted.
Oh yeah.
Right on.
So, Infinitude's Passage is out now for $20 spin. Kelly and Eli, please tell everyone listening to this or watching it on YouTube how they can get the new album. What's the best way to order it?
You can either order it directly on the $20 spin website, or you can also get it on their Bandcamp.
So I believe $20 spin is creating 3 different versions of the vinyl. Do you guys want to say anything about that?
We really didn't have any say in that. He just said these are the variants, and we're like, sick. Yeah, you know what you're doing. So we're stoked with any vinyl right now is like beyond amazing to accomplish in this increasingly unphysical world we live in. So to have your music that you can hold in your hand is in any variant is pretty badass.
It means a lot to be able to have that.
Now, is $20 spin also handling all your merch, or do you guys have your own merch page?
They handle all the album related merch. I'm not sure as of now if there's plans for making merch for this album. I believe there's Deconsecrate t-shirts still available on their website. And we also have a big cartel through Pale Magus Productions, if I'm not mistaken.
Or not.
And you can also just feel free to DM us and we can send it the old fashioned way.
And if people want to follow Aenigmatum online, get updates, what is the best way?
That's going to be
Probably our Instagram is where we, keep things the most up to date. So, follow us on Instagram, check our stories to keep up to speed with what we're doing, what we're up to.
And that's Enigmatum_PDX.
Excellent. Guys, it was really nice speaking with you. Is there anything else you want to say? Anything else you want the listeners to know about this album or anything else?
Thank you for having us. Just want to say that it's been fun. And,
yeah, thank you very much. To anyone who's like not stuck in their ways, I think this kind of music is, we make it for you. We mostly make it for ourselves, but the amount of people who are open-minded enough to appreciate what we're doing is pretty inspiring. And yeah, here's to you. Cheers.
I see what you guys are, saying. We see the comments and everything that is on, YouTube, any social media. It means the whole world when people are saying, this is one of my favorite bands, or it's super humbling. We don't deserve any of it because we're just making these dumb riffs that, at the end of the day, we can like barely play at first, but you know, we see you guys and we really appreciate it because, you know, we're making this music just because we have to. We couldn't do anything else with our lives. But
That's it.
the fact that there's people that are actually into this is crazy, and it means the world to us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.